challenging them on that if their surveillance data is adequate. And one of my co-authors, who's a rheumatologist, a pediatric rheumatologist, had this to say. It's
Patrick Whalen. I'm a UCLA pediatric specialist. This is just an N of one, but February 25th, I filed a VAERS report on a 7-year-old patient who had a cardiac arrest following his first Pfizer vaccination. It was about 30 hours after he got the vaccine. I didn't receive any follow-up about it. The patient died about 8 days later. I submitted another email offering to update the report with the death of the patient. It's been 2 weeks now. I still haven't heard anything. So I'm wondering if there's more extensive surveillance than just VAERS-based surveillance for cases like this. And I would think that if the death of a 7-year-old following the vaccine is not, meriting follow-up, either the system is totally overwhelmed or there's something wrong with the reporting system.
I want to play you some of the responses to this, because we're explaining to them that there's just from this man's, was one physician's who just happens to be within our study group. This is his own experience with the VAERS experience with VAERS, and here's what they have to say.
Such interest, we're happy to make sure that it didn't get waylaid somewhere. Usually, the pediatric deaths, I know that they have been very good about chasing down. I know because I've heard details of each of them in many cases.
That doesn't mean that you. This is the worst response you could think. This man saying you didn't follow up on a pediatric death, and I want to finish this
Word
thing.
salad.
The FDA, instead, what this should have been like is this is a holy shit moment. Leaders of the FDA, guy saying it's been 2 weeks since a kid died, and you haven't contacted me saying, okay, we are going to figure out what went wrong here. We're going to fix this problem. You should have been contacted. Instead, we're getting things about, email us. Oh, just write a huge study and then get a meeting with the heads of the FDA, and then you could email us about something. But here, listen.
Does that sound right, Steve?
Yeah, so they should be followed up within a matter of days, actually. So just drop me an email or Rich, and then we'll just send it to our surveillance group.
That's our surveillance
to make sure that it didn't. I got it fall through
That's
the cracks.
disgusting.
It did fall through the cracks.
My guess is, if anything, it's just that they're behind. But I can't believe I can't believe something like this would fall through the cracks.
You can't believe something like this. It did fall through the cracks. You just heard about it.
Pointing fingers, but I think that the larger issue is.
And just to put that,
very reasonable.
Yes.
I should say, just to put this in some perspective, just a couple weeks ago, the FDA reprimanded and shut down a baby formula manufacturing facility because 4 children were hospitalized and 2 of them subsequently died. Okay. That's tragic. Don't get me wrong. Tragic. But they shut down an entire manufacturing facility and pulled the product from the market because 4 children were hospitalized. Compare that to the tens of thousands of reports that we have on VAERS, which we know is grossly underreported, by the way. The vSafe, they pulled that entire surveillance system off and stopped. In fact, one of you should talk about that. The vSafe system, which was kind of the backup specifically geared towards the COVID shots, where VAERS is, takes all comers for vaccines. The vSafe was, again, not my system. I didn't create it. None of us created it. It was created by them specifically to look at adverse events related to these vaccines. They have abdicated their responsibility to follow these up. If this doesn't piss off every American, then you are asleep at the wheel, because what you are exposing, Dr. Fraiman, I think is horrifying. This is the state of what we've got for the FDA. God help us.
Yeah, no, I have much more of